We have come to expect that Keir Starmer is prepared to stoop low, low, low. So are his lousy cabinet, covering up, not telling us the truth, lying through his teeth. And today, though, I think he's probably stooped to his lowest point so far by attacking democracy. So we've got the local elections coming up in May, 29 local elections. Then everybody knows that Labour are going to get what Barack Obama once called a shellacking. They're going to get hammered. And Reform UK was set to do extremely well. Well, guess what? What's Starmer's approach to that? Let's cancel democracy. So he's cancelled 13 of these local elections. Some old drivel about, oh, well, the borders are changing, so we'll have to do these later. No. He is terrified of how bad it is going to look when Labour lose all of these seats, all of these local elections. And the ones where Reform UK were tipped to do particularly well, they're the ones that have gone. What a shame. What a surprise as well. Here's Nigel Farage fuming about all of this.
I simply could not believe the rumour when I heard that the Labour government, despite any manifesto commitment, want to completely change the shape of local government, and that is now being used by the Conservative Party, who in fact run most of the county councils, as a reason to cancel the elections. No, I'm not making it up. Over half of the county councils in Britain have said, because these changes are coming, we want the elections cancelled on May the 1st. It looks like about 10 million of you who would have had the right to vote on that day will not be able to. I think this is absolutely monstrous. We haven't heard a big debate about it because both Labour and the Conservatives agree. They are terrified of the rise of reform.
He's right, isn't he, Isabel? This is a disgrace, an utter disgrace, an attack on democracy.
It's highly unusual to cancel elections at any level. You know, we saw the cancellation of elections and postponement during COVID. I've seen it before during foot and mouth disease many years ago. That had an impact on timing of elections, not cancellation though. This is quite astonishing. You just don't, this is just not what you do in a modern democracy. And I haven't really engaged with the story because it seemed a bit boring. And actually, when you look at the way it's reported in this very dry manner. I was just looking at the BBC report on it just now, and it's all about, well, these county councils are cancelling elections because of some, devolution measure, and they make it sound so dry. Let's call this what it is. It is an attempt to strip people of their fundamental right in the UK to have their say over who governs them at a local level. And that matters hugely to people. It has an impact on their everyday lives in many ways, more so than what happens at national level. This is about how often your bins are collected, how many potholes there are, whether your child who needs special attention at school gets that kind of care package, and so on. And this is a brazen attempt to deny people their democratic voice. And it is utterly disgraceful. And I am sure it is because of the rise of the Reform Party, which today, once again, came the top of a new set of polls.
Yes, it's an unholy alliance between Labour and the Tories, because Labour were going to get a kick in. They were going to get hammered in all of this, and so, of course, were the Tories, as Reform rise and rise. So everybody in Westminster knows that Reform was set to have one hell of a good day on May the 1st. 13 of 29 elections now will not happen. Some old drivel about the border lines of constituencies changing and all that. That's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. This is Keir Starmer aided and abetted by Kemi Badenoch, cancelling democracy while they desperately try to hang on to the two-party system and Reform UK keep on coming at them. And of course, as I said, the 13, by an extraordinary coincidence, the 13 boroughs and areas that have been cancelled in terms of their elections, they were the areas where Reform UK were tipped to win, to triumph. Strange that, but quite a coincidence, isn't it?
You know, I don't think this is going to work, because what any opposition party worth their salt would do in this case, and as we've just said, the supposed real opposition, the Tories are in favour of this, is to double down in the very areas where people have been denied their voice. And I can imagine that Reform will throw extra resources into these areas to make sure that the politicians responsible for this appalling decision are well and truly punished at the first opportunity. Now, that opportunity may be delayed. That's only an opportunity for Reform and other opposition parties to gather their strength so that they can give these people the metaphoric kicking that they deserve the minute they do get a chance to go to the ballot box. I would say behave like this at your peril, Labour government, because you will be punished for it.
And they're only holding off the inevitable. You know, if they succeed in this dreadful, disgraceful attack on democracy, they still have to go through a general election at some point. And I'll tell you what, Reform UK are going to feature quite prominently in the next general election, to say the least. It's been extraordinary what the Tories have been up to in this last week, the events that have been going on. The awful Southport revelations, the fact that we're all, the Home Office report, we're all extremists because we believe in two-tier being. All of these scandals, massive scandals that have really energised the people. The Tory leader, Kemi Badenoch, the best she managed was about page 96 in the newspapers, because she's worried about academy schools. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. She's got to learn about how the media works. And I fear, well, I don't really fear because they deserve it, but I fear for the fate of the Tories unless she raises her game.
She really doesn't seem to get it. And, you know, this is remarkable. I don't want to just bang the drum for Reform. You know, I'm happy to give credit where it's due to other opposition parties. But Reform has 5 MPs. That's all it has relative to the Tories with their 100 and whatever it is they've got. They're not making any weather, the Tories. They've got all these MPs who don't seem to be able to cut through at all. And, you know, why does this matter? Because elections are years away. You know, many things can change between now and then. Maybe Reform will crash and burn. I hope not. But this looks and feels like a revolution in our politics. It looks and feels like finally there is an end in sight to the two-party system. We can't say whether it will or it won't happen, but from where I'm sitting, something very, very exciting is underway.
Absolutely. I mean, to Kemi Badenoch, we're going to go to break in just a second, but Kemi Badenoch had a great opportunity this week because Keir Starmer, ludicrously, when we got the ONS statistics on the fact that our population is likely to explode to 72.5 million by 2032, which means that be about half at 400,000 more legal migrants every year coming in. When Keir Starmer was asked, well, surely now is the time to put a cap on. Oh, I don't think that would serve any practical purpose. She should have come in and said, well, we'll put a cap on it, and here's the number. I rather like Reform's cap number, 0, net 0 on migration. She should be saying that, but she's talking about academy schools. Hey, Kemi, wake up and smell the coffee, really.